Hi, everyone. I am Setrag from Finale. We have some exciting news about our launch of Xero. This video will be geared to two groups of people. One is Finale users that are without an accounting system that might be interested in using Xero. And then the other group of people that might be interested in watching the rest of this video would be people using Xero that are looking for a better inventory and warehouse solution and why you might like Finale. Today, I am joined with Scott Scharf, one of our trusted partners, to speak about his experience with Xero, his tips, and his suggestions. So welcome, Scott.
Thank you.
So just a really quick cap of who Finale is, what we do. We are a cloud-based inventory management solution, and we handle everything from purchasing, stock and inventory management, and order fulfillment, which is your pick, pack, and ship operations. And Xero is a cloud-based accounting software built for automation and accuracy. So Scott, first let's start things off with, if you are a current Finale user, why using Xero would be great for a connection and why a Finale user would want to connect to Xero in the first place.
Yeah, sounds great. So just background, I've been running a cloud accounting service starting in 2011. So I've been actively working with Finale and Xero and e-commerce accounting for well over a decade now. So just a little background. If you have them, you have an air gap between the two of them where you're not automatically flowing data, trusted data from Finale. And if you don't know this, Finale has always had an understanding of a ledger behind the scenes. They track inventory in and out of warehouses. They track bills and actually do double entry accounting-ish work on the back end. So it's very trusted data that Finale behaves in a smart way. It's not just data that can randomly change. That's the first piece why it's a good idea that you can connect the data from Finale into your general ledger. Okay. Now that there's a Xero integration, if you had an air gap before, Finale's got great custom reports. They have some nice accounting reports and other stuff that you could run daily, weekly, or monthly to post those reports, but it's a manual process. You have to import them or type them in or do whatever else. Now you can integrate them, and I'll show in another slide where you can now connect them where bills, purchase orders will flow over as bills. You don't need to double enter data. You can create orders in Finale or have orders or income that come through different channels and have those post directly without having to double enter them and do other things. And then if you do stock takes and other adjustments, those post across as well, so that the operations team, as long as they're following their best practices, can do what they're doing and the data will automatically flow in. And for over a decade running Catching Clouds, an e-commerce accounting firm, I wouldn't let any of these tools connect because they push too much information, the wrong information, and corrupt the financials. That's not the case anymore. With the valid data and the processes Finale has on the back end, you now can connect them and save time for operations, save time for your accounting team, and the data is just there and it's trusted. And when you look, it matches in both places and it helps you close your books faster.
Great. Thanks for that overview. So you touched on how it flows together, and that's exactly what we're going to look at next. So now we're going to see, how does it actually connect? How does Finale connect with Xero and your e-commerce accounting workflow? So I'll let you take it away.
Sounds good. This is my view of e-commerce accounting, having run an e-commerce accounting practice for almost 15 years and consulting to them and working with thousands of sellers. Finally, there's a clean way, in my opinion, that makes things both better for the accountants and operations and the sellers so that the data flows in. The first piece I'm talking about, I'm just going to add in initially, is working with a company called A2X Accounting that will post Amazon, Walmart, eBay, Etsy, and Shopify data in a summary, useful fashion that will allow you to reconcile, have income flow into your general ledger for any of your D2C, direct-to-consumer channels for all the nameless, faceless customers in a way that is very efficient and accurate to post the income that's easily reconcilable by the accountant. So that all just flows in for all of those channels where Xero's not set up for you to import 500 Shopify orders per day. Then you have to apply payments and reconcile them. It's all this busy work that's not necessary, where you can consolidate all of that. And then Xero will post 2 invoices for Amazon for each of the settlement statements and split it over the end of the month so that you're not overloading Xero, your general ledger, with all this data that's not built. It's not an enterprise resource planning system. So that's the first piece, because you really want to apply the right approach. Do you need detailed, accurate information? The other key concept here is in a separate general ledger like Xero with an inventory management system, not combined, you are only tracking summary useful information in Xero and then just the dollar amount, not the SKUs and the quantities, not the number of inventory, not the value. It's just dollar amounts. Your general ledger is holding inventory value. You have a COGS dollar value. All of those things happen. Okay. That's like the basics to simplify things. Whether you're doing your own accounting yourself, you're working with an outsourced accountant. When I ran an outsourced accounting team, we had dozens and dozens of clients. We had to get all the work done as efficiently and accurately as possible, and we used A2X. Now, for years, we kept Finale disconnected, and I've been bugging them, which is why I'm doing this video, since at least 2019 to build a Xero integration. So I'm so happy it's here, and I'm happy to be here to talk about it, because two good solutions combined together. Now, when you're looking at the inventory management system, if you looked, it's going to connect to all the channels and pull in every order. So you can see every order for COGS, every order so you can track shipping and statuses and all those other things. Great. Finale is your specialized database to do inventory management. It is your trusted source for purchase orders, everything you're buying, trusted source for all of your costs, and a trusted source for all of your inventory quantities at whatever number of warehouses you have. Okay. Those are key things that it's responsible for. Then you want the data to flow. If you're pulling in, you have a dedicated Shopify site for your B2B income, and you generate a net term invoice and everything else, and you're selling either wholesale, B2B, or direct orders, and people are buying case quantities or whatever else, all of those orders should flow into, same thing for fair, direct or manual, or EDI orders will all flow into Finale, and then those should flow over individually. So if you look in the bottom right corner in the pink one, it's going to take each of those invoices that you want to track the net terms and, what's going on for your Acme client or Beta client or whoever. It's going to post each invoice individually and sync back and forth between them so you know what's going on. Okay. Where you can post summary information for Amazon and Shopify D2C, you get that level of detail, and a human doesn't need to enter that data. And you can send invoices from Finale, and then that'll track, and then you can apply payments in Xero and keep track of that. The next thing, of course, is the blue is posting purchase orders as bills. When you issue a purchase order, it'll automatically track the bill, so that create the bill in Xero so that when you get an invoice, when you get the additional information, that can all be applied. Then, in my opinion, you want to post cost of goods sold with the inventory management system, because it's going to post it based on the ship date. Okay. Where A2X is going to post, you can upload costs. Finale and A2X do integrate. You can connect and use Finale to sync the costs up to A2X and have it post cost of goods sold for you instead of Finale itself. You have multiple options there, so that, but it's going to be posted based off the order date. Most people, if you're get an order and you ship within 2 or 3 days or 5 days, you don't care about deferred income or anything else. So there's a lot of integration and relationship between Finale and A2X. But you can post those purchase orders. You can post cost of goods sold, which would be a daily journal entry. Okay. You're not pushing a million transaction for every single order. It's just going to be a daily manual journal entry. And the last piece is, if you do a stock take, whether that's weekly, monthly, lost, stolen, damaged, adjustments, when those happens, those will get posted over. There are a few other things that can happen, but that's really the fundamentals, is that this automates the bulk of the key pieces of e-commerce accounting, which is posting income, okay? Purchasing inventory that becomes a bill that gets applied and goes from the P&L over to the balance sheet, okay? And then tracking inventory and pulling out cost of goods sold, and then any inventory adjustments. Those are the basics. There's a little more work and details with vendor deposits, but hopefully this gives you a view of how every order flows into the cart. A2X does its part to make it simpler and faster and summarize the information. You're not pushing too much information into Xero. And a human doesn't have to enter all this data. And then if your accountant has access to Finale, they can look and check. If you already have your month-end reports and your trusted reports that are either in Finale or sync over to Google Sheets, which it does great, you can use those as part of your month-end close, or your accountants can, to double check the things that flow over, because accountants like to reconcile things and make sure everything works. But it is possible today to have an automated accounting process where you're keeping both your general ledger and your accounting up to date, while your operations and your business just flows through Finale.
Great. Yeah, and I just wanted to clarify. So, so you can have a direct connection with only Finale and Xero, but adding A2X to the mix enriches it so much more. Scott, in your opinion, when would a company kind of think, okay, my connection to Finale and Xero is working well, but I want to add A2X to the mix? When's usually the sign that that's the right time?
Everybody should be using A2X as soon as they're making more than $5,000 a month, and just let it do it for you. Most e-commerce businesses don't implement an inventory management system until they're $1 million plus. Now, if you're tech forward and you like efficiency and you don't like doing data entry, you can do it sooner. So it's actually kind of the other way around, because if you use Finale can summarize data and push over your Amazon data on a daily summary, and then a weekly summary or a monthly summary. Okay. But that's not going to, that's going to align to the date, not what actually happens in the settlement statement, which is very, very different. Okay. So that's not going to work. Okay. With Shopify, you can post it daily, weekly, or monthly, but A2X is going to post it per payment processor, and the invoice for Shop Pay is going to include the fees. It's going to match your payment from Shopify exactly, and you can just hit OK in Xero and apply the payment, and you're done. It's reconciled. There's no reconciling the Shop Pay clearing account or anything else. Then if you're selling on PayPal, Sezzle, Klarna, Afterpay, whoever, you're going to pay those to each to different clearing accounts, which keeps that all under control. And then you're looking at 5 to 15 minutes per payment processor to reconcile it month end, which is a great efficiency. But if you use Finale to post the income for Shopify, D2C sales, Etsy, eBay, Walmart, you still have to do it in a summary fashion. You can't do every single order. You can check the box to let it do it, but it's going to overwhelm the system, and you're going to have 1 million things to apply and 5,000 invoices that don't have payments that you can't map together, because it's not always a one-to-one that there's this one order and everything else. Now, if you sell an order to, Gamma Company for 5 cases for $5,000 on net 30 terms, you have an individual invoice, okay? And then that should be an individual invoice. You track accounts receivable like you would any other business. And it's just 2 different processes. There's an e-commerce marketplace and Shopify D2C approach, which the idea is get to summary information. A2X will cut the time down by like 97% to post that income. So it's the other way around. So I would say you should start using A2X as soon as you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. Okay. And then when you go, oh, how do I trust what my 3PL has? How do I know what's going on in my warehouse? Wait, what did I purchase? What are my costs? When you start asking those questions, then you want to implement an inventory management system. And now if you use Xero, because you prefer Xero over QuickBooks Online or other solutions, you can go right to a solid solution like Finale to do inventory management.
Great. Thank you for that. Let's go on. And I think we touched on some of these, but really quickly, again, like why connecting your Finale and Xero account is so beneficial. Let's talk about COGS again, a little bit, inventory valuation, and also PO to bill automation.
Yeah. For accurate cost of goods sold, your trusted source for cost of goods sold across all of your channels and all of those. Plus another piece we didn't mention I should put on here is you can use Xero tracking categories to create a channel and then do Amazon, Shopify, Walmart, eBay, Etsy, whatever else. Finale, A2X will post all the income into those. So you can look at your income, not just sales income, shipping income, discounts, refunds, but you can also look at it sideways, so horizontally, to say, what's my Amazon sales income, shipping income, discounts, refunds, FBA reimbursements, and then with Finale can post the COGS per channel, and we'll post it so it says here's the Amazon COGS that relates to this income. Okay, so it gives you the ability to see profitability per channel in the financials. So that's part of the automation piece that's there, which I should have a bullet for. Okay, but the accurate COGS is that as you're buying inventory, you create a purchase order or a bill, and then when you receive it, you post it to the inventory account on the balance sheet. Okay, because Finale is your trusted source of costs, where you're adding not only the buy costs, but indirect costs, inbound shipping, tariff customs duties, which are constantly fluctuating, insurance, and any other costs to get it live in your warehouse. It's going to pull that out, where all of that's going to sit on your balance sheet, and you're going to pull those out. And then it'll help you keep track of your inventory valuation, because Finale is going to be your trusted source for that. And then when there's a difference between what Finale says and Xero says, which happens for everybody. Okay. I've talked to probably 9,000 sellers, people on NetSuite, people with teams of 20 accountants. There's always a difference. Slight, because everything's going very fast. You can't track every penny. Then you compare those two, and then there's an accounting adjustment, okay? But you now have a trusted source versus, oh, this accounting stuff's happening. But how does that compare to, I have 10,000 units at $10. Oh, I've got $100,000 of inventory. But wait a minute, the accounting says I only have $90,000. And you're like, oh, I didn't move the money I spent on inbound shipping on those 4 containers over to the inventory account. There's a few accounting things on the back end, but you need a trusted source for your financials that you can take to the bank or investors or use for taxes. And then you need a trusted source for those. And Finale can be that. And then you sync the two, and they keep up to date, but there will always be some minor differences. Doesn't matter if it's Finale or any other solution. The PO to bill automation is a lot of times the operations and the purchasing person's buying stuff. Okay. And then the accountant doesn't know about it until an invoice shows up 4 weeks later. Okay. So you don't know what your accounts payable is going to be. It's hard to track cash flow unless your accountant's logging into Finale and running reports to look at all the purchase orders. Now, with those automatically flowing over, okay, they're going to see them and know to account for that cash. Okay. And that data is going to be kept up to date, and it'll save them time. Okay. And then the idea is to get away from spreadsheets and double entry. I know people that enter their orders in a manual order in Shopify. Okay. And then maybe that syncs to Finale, but then they'll enter an order in Finale, then they'll enter it in QBO, and then they'll log into their 3PL and enter it there for it to ship. Okay. Let's let computers do what computers need to do. And then here's the thing. Once you have the flow that I've showed you set up, doesn't matter how much volume you have. Okay. Finale can handle it. There's no limit on the number of transactions. You're summarizing the data. It's simplifying the work to the point where you now know it's going to take 2 hours, 4 hours to close your books at month end, not 4 days or 5 days. And it takes you until the 20th or 30th of the month to finish all the things. It's almost most of the way done. And then you have a reconciliation process. So, but it'll just scale. Once you've got this going, do more volume. It's just different numbers. And you don't need humans to keep up with all the data.
Yeah, and that's a really great point. I think people don't really realize how much time they waste on double entry and how much of it can be automated. And so if you're on spreadsheets and you want to automate your accounting, connecting Finale to your Xero will just expedite things unbelievably. And it's really meant for scaling, like you said. So is there anything else about getting off spreadsheets that you would emphasize to people?
So there's a lot of time. So I consult to e-commerce businesses, help them optimize themselves. Okay. There is a point at a very small number. And then I run into companies that are 20 plus million still on spreadsheets where they implode. You can't be trusted. An equation's wrong. Somebody didn't keep up. The person who keeps it up went on vacation or was on cold medication or whatever else. Okay. And that it's a point where it can impair your growth because you're doing so much work, and you're having smart humans keep manual processes up to date, where you'd much rather have smart humans focusing on branding or marketing or customer service or designing that next new product versus trying to just keep the wheels on the bus. Okay. So my opinion, with Xero being very approachable for small businesses and to get started, especially e-commerce businesses, you can now skip past spreadsheet to a full-fledged IMS instead of some of the smaller systems that are, yes, under $100 a month. You're like, oh my God. So Finale runs $350 plus. But that might be enough to get you a full featured inventory management system that integrates with your accounting, has some light manufacturing if you need that. And it's a full featured. You can jump up to the point where if you're over, God, even 500,000, let's say $600,000 a month, okay, between Xero A2X and Finale for $500 or $600, 10% of your revenue per month, you have all of this automated and all the features. And these are things that I'm helping businesses that are 15, 20 plus million implementing. And then you don't have to fight those things, and you can focus on other challenges, which there are plenty in e-commerce. So I'm just saying you can go there sooner. I know quite a few sellers that I've worked with that have gone through multiple inventory management systems, get to Finale, which is well named, and went, oh, it's not the prettiest. It's actually got a pretty simple UI. It doesn't have every other feature some systems have. But there's a point where if you just want to get work done, Finale is a good choice. And then it integrates deeply with Google Sheets, where you can pull data out and feed them into some of your other processes when you still need it. So Finale can keep doing the work and then give you the accurate data where somebody doesn't have to copy it out or export the reports. And there's some just cool stuff in there that still allow you, if you built your own custom demand planning spreadsheet process. Well, Finale has all the data and you just sync it right over and nobody has to type it out or run reports. There's some really neat stuff that I see people do operationally around it, because you're still going to have some spreadsheets and then there's some other evolution you can do.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty interesting setups where customers, they will take their data from Finale and they'll do just really great things in like Power BI, or they'll make their dashboards in Looker Studio, and it's your data. You can do whatever you want with it. It's your stock information. Like if you want to build your own reports off of it, like have at it. Next, I think this will kind of go to the next topic of the power of Finale and the integration power, because Finale handles the operational chaos so that Xero can stay simple. So let's talk about this, because when you connect your Xero to Finale, you're also opening up all these other opportunities too, with our other integrations. So I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, I mean, basically all of a sudden you have the ability to integrate all these different data feeds where Finale tests, like I like what you said, it managed the operational chaos to pull all that together so that you can focus on the operations of fulfilling product. Okay. It has the integrations you need to integrate with your warehouse management, whether that's ShipStation or a number of other tools. So it's where you connect those things, where Xero, you're going to connect to, Gusto for payroll. You're going to connect to a bill payment solution. You're going to, integrate with your bank like Mercury or others, and keep that focused and not muck with those inside and combine those or try to combine those systems. So you just want to ask Xero to do what it's good at, double entry accounting, ask Finale what it's good at. And it was also a place where you would integrate a lot of things to pull the data where every single order across whatever other channels you're on all flow together. And then it just automates that overall process and workflow. It also provides structure. When you have spreadsheets and you're in a smaller business, the founder does it one way, okay? The founder's spouse does it a different way when they're doing purchase orders or operations. And then the poor 3 or 4 people that work for them don't know which process to follow. Okay. It's more, not just automate, it provides a framework that here's the tool that's meant to do purchase orders. So we follow it through and you figure out, oh, we have to fill in data on these 8 fields. We can't skip this field. And then everybody does it the same way.
And I think that's perfect for the second bullet, where it's like Finale, we give you the workflow. Like it's not like Joe Schmo, he has his way of doing purchase orders, and Billy Bob, he does stock takes his own way. If you're looking for a system where everyone in your whole warehouse or multiple warehouses are kind of doing one efficient flow, Finale gives that to you. And from the purchasing side, the stock taking side, the fulfillment
supporting barcode scanners and all those things you wish you could have, you jump to that ability to a solution that I consider reasonable, okay? Because I know other systems that are much more expensive, that provides you that framework. So if you're like, ooh, I'm going to grow from 500K to 5 million in the next year, this would be the number one, implementing EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, as a business framework would be high on my list. But the number one thing to optimize your e-commerce business is to have the right inventory management system properly implemented. Their implementers will work with you whatever the number of weeks to get their system set up specifically for your business, which is critical. It's almost more important who implements it than picking the right platform.
And the other thing I wanted to like kind of emphasize that you said is really important, that letting these systems do what they're best at. Finale
Mhm.
is going to be your source of truth for all of your inventory.
Mhm.
Xero is going to be the master of your accounting. So it's good to have these connections because Finale is going to do the best at the operations and the inventory
Mhm.
side, and let Xero take care of the accounting part. So next, we are going to do some other practical tips and workflows and best practices that Scott has to share with you.
Yeah. So if you don't know what CSM is, it's Customer Support Manager. Every Finale customer, if you don't know who your customer support manager, ping support and ask them who it is. They're excellent people. I've worked with a bunch of them. They're your person for you to talk to them, and they'll tell you not only about the new features that Finale's implemented, or you get their newsletter, they will help you set them up. Seriously, how do I set up this new feature for whatever? And I just saw a bunch of stuff today. Okay. That's your contact. Okay. They'll help you. Now, this isn't unlimited time. They're not going to spend 6 weeks with you or whatever else, but they'll configure this stuff inside there to set up new functionality that they're enabling all the time. I see so many sellers don't invest. They buy a tool, have it for 2 years, and they never turn on a single new feature. And then they buy 5 other apps for $300 a month that do the things that are already in your core tool. Okay. So maybe once a quarter, a couple times a year, in any case, meet with your CSM and say, hey, how would I do this? Okay. The next piece is before you connect Finale to Xero, you want to make sure the data is clean. If half your costs are zero, well, then your cost of goods sold and your inventory value is wrong. Okay. If you haven't closed out purchase orders or people haven't finished receiving inventory and all the little things that don't get cleaned up on your system, you want to make sure those are cleaned up. Now, that is not something Finale CSM will tell you how to do it. Support will give you a checklist on what you can do yourself. If you're like, I don't understand data enough, I don't have time or whatever else, Finale has multiple, and I've worked with a number of these consultants that will do a health check and go clean up everything in Finale, and they can build custom reports and do a bunch of other stuff. So I highly recommend doing a cleanup before you connect Finale and Xero. So great people at Finale, customer service manager, they'll know, the support people will know the boxes to configure to connect Finale and Xero and how to configure it and how to turn off Finale from posting Amazon or Shopify income if you're using A2X and the basics. Okay. That's great. There are Finale accounting partners that work with, and they're on the Finale partner page that you can contact, that once you've cleaned up the Finale data, you can pay them to do the configuration if you don't want to screw it up and you want to make sure it's done right. So this is something you can pay for whatever number of hours. You can choose to outsource your accounting at that point in time, but they'll help you do that just to make sure everything's configured right and double check things. Mostly like configuring tracking categories in Xero, making sure you have clearing accounts set up. A lot of these people, some of the same partners are A2X certified partners, and they'll make sure A2X is configured. So if you don't want to do it yourself, there are people that you can work with, and you can reach out to either A2X Accounting or Finale and look at their partners. Okay. Then this is not set and forget. Okay. Don't just turn on automation, because automation can make things better faster and worse faster. You have to set them up. You have to have somebody that once a month, when we talk a month-end close process, in the first few days of the following month, looks at Xero, runs reports, and then goes make sure everybody closed out the POs and did stock takes and all the things that have to happen operationally, and then run report in Finale and go, wait a minute, didn't we write off and didn't we have like 5 pallets of stuff destroyed on a truck? Oh, that didn't get written off. Oh, we have to put that up.
It still needs maintenance, but
It still needs maintenance, and that you should have a monthly process where you run the reports and go, do these look right? And most of the time you're like, cool, they're right. Oh, there's a small adjustment. Okay, now at that point, you don't have to enter data or copy, paste and stuff. So you still have to do that. And then leverage your customer service manager or training or support. Oh, the other thing, I'll put a rant in. Ask every question. Do not be shy. Open support tickets. This applies to all sellers. You all get so busy. And then if you get an answer that is too technical, as in you're like, I think this answers my question, I don't know what to do, send it back. say, whoa, whoa. Or you can always copy and paste it into your own AI going, hey, translate this into 12th grade language or whatever else, but just push it back. But seriously, open everything. If there's a missing feature, nag them. Just set it up and send it in every week, every month, whatever, however important it is. But you have to put a little bit of time in every month on this critical system in your business to keep evolving it. Don't let something bug you. There could be just a simple checkbox fix for it. Okay. There could be something else. And then once or twice a year, you can pay a consultant to come in and just tune everything up and make everything pretty for you. Okay.
I think what you just said.
So that's my big point.
Yeah, I like what you said. Like, if you just asked, there could have just been one checkbox that solved all of your issues. I know one philosophy we have at Finale is like, just let us know what your problem is. What's problem are you having? We might be able to fix it right away if you're a current user. And if we can't fix it ourselves right away, we'll point you in the right direction. I think what makes Finale different than a lot of other IMSs or WMSs is that we just listen. What issue are you having in your warehouse? What issue are you having in your retail store? What issue are you having on your marketplaces? And let's figure it out, because odds are like we can solve it ourselves, or we're going to point you in the right direction.
Yeah, they do. And it's there. Provide contacts. Go ahead and vent. Go ahead and say, hey, I'm trying to accomplish this, this, and this. Don't try to translate it down to a super smart thing. Just like you can just word vomit into an AI chatbot. Just do the same thing. They care. Actually, the Finale team, I will honestly tell you, they're wonderful people. They care. So give them more context and then be clear. Actually, I'm asking this question with all the other stuff, and they'll come back and provide it. So either work with Finale support, your customer service manager, Finale accounting partners, or their other partners to get the most out of this solution, or just get your own internal person to be more of an expert and keep running it from there. I know a lot of companies that get to Finale and they keep it until they exit their business.
I'm just going to summarize working with our trusted experts, that if you work with Finale, we can always connect you with one of our certified Finale partners to get things started. We have accounting partners who specialize in connecting Finale to Xero and doing the implementation. We have collaboration, like what Scott said before, with A2X, and it delivers really high impact quality connections for your e-commerce business and connecting your e-commerce accounting with accuracy. Like Scott said, meet with your customer service account manager for high-level review of your account, for your Finale account, to make sure you're using it to full functionality. And also, like Scott said, using all the new releases. We have a lot of new releases at Finale, and we might have something new that you're not using yet that could really make an impact. Like Scott said, verify your data, specifically costs, your inventory counts, PO statuses before connecting to Xero. And like he said, work with one of our Finale consultants and partners to do a health check to clean up data. If you are ready to do your connect your Finale account to Xero, we are here and ready to help. If you're an e-commerce seller on Xero, Finale is a powerful automated inventory software that you can use. So let us know to get started. Thank you from all of us for joining and watching. So whether you're having inventory problem of any sort, let us know at Finale. And thank you so much to our trusted partner, Scott, for your insights, your perspective, and tips on the Xero integration. So if you are $1 million+ e-commerce business looking for help with business operations and accounting, reach out to Scott Scharf. He's an awesome guy, as you can tell. He'll help you with everything from your tech stack to e-commerce business decision making. Thanks, and have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.